Sharp, sharper, sharpest. That's what people look for in home video, a sharper picture. We know because we conducted a test to see how we stacked up against the competition. And more people chose Sony Betamax as having a sharper picture than VHS. Which Betamax did we use for this test? Just our standard model SL2300. Imagine what people might have said if we had shown them how really sharp a home video picture could be if they had seen a Sony Super Betamax in action. What's so super about Super Beta? Watch. The Beta picture most people thought was sharper than VHS becomes a Super Beta picture with up to 20% higher resolution. A picture so rich in detail, it's like opening a window on a whole new home video world. What happens to a Super Beta picture when you go beyond the first generation of your home movies? No problem. Just flip the edit switch on your Super Beta VCR and go from the first generation to the second generation. And even all the way to the fourth generation, with a picture that can look as sharp and clear as the second generation image on an ordinary Beta VCR. We think you get the picture. What makes Super Beta so super? We'll show you. By taking a Super Beta picture and splitting it in half. Like all TV images, a Super Beta picture is really two signals. One called chrominance for color information, the other called luminance for picture detail and sharpness information. What Sony Super Beta does is extend the luminance carrier signal up to 800 kilohertz, expanding its range and allowing more picture and sharpness information to be recorded. That means more detail, higher definition, greater realism and excitement. Your video image snaps to life. But just in case you're recording a tape for playback on a standard Beta VCR, snap off your Super Beta switch. There are two more Super Beta switches on our model SL-HF900 you should know about. The edit switch to reduce the grainy effect of multiple generations, and the detail switch that modifies noise reduction circuitry to let you capture even more detail when you're using high-grade videotape. What's missing from this Super Beta picture? Just one thing: sound. Beta Hi-Fi stereo sound with dynamic range and frequency response right up there in the same league with ultra-fidelity audio equipment. So let's put it all together. A Beta video image measurably sharper than VHS. Super Beta picture quality to increase sharpness up to an additional 20%. And the spectacular stereo sound of Beta Hi-Fi. That's Super Beta Hi-Fi. Frankly, the experience is out of this world. And Sony has introduced a whole new line of Super Beta products. Super Betamax, Super Beta Hi-Fi, Super Beta Movie, to bring the sharpest picture quality and spectacular stereo sound right into your home. So from now on, your home video recordings and home video movies will look and sound, well, there's just one word for it: super. Super Beta from Sony, the one and only.